Hey y'all, Kathryn here with Ukulele Wine Time. Today we're going to talk about 7 chords, what they are, where that 7 comes from, and the different types of 7 chords, and do you need to play them on your ukulele. I also have my dog friend here with me, so if you hear any slurping, Finn, or jingling of the collar, he is laying on my feet down here. There's Finn. Hello. All right, so what he does, he just stares at me all day. Okay, so this question came up in my class the other day. The question was G versus G7. So they were really interested to find out where that 7 came from. So I wanted to make a video about that to share with y'all. So we're gonna start actually with a C major chord, and then we're gonna add different types of 7s to it and see how that sounds. Bless you. And a big question that also came out of this was, which 7 chords can I substitute? Do I have to play the 7? Because we were talking about how the song we were learning had a G7 in it, and I mentioned that you could just play a normal G chord, and they were like, why? So I want to break that down for you and hopefully give you the power to decide, hey, that's my dog, maybe the tripod, and give you the power to decide, hey, I want to use this chord for this, or, oh, I can just play the simple triad for this. Okay, so let's start with a C major chord on your ukulele, right? So 3rd finger, 3rd fret of your A string, right? So let's start with the C major scale. So I'm gonna write this on our board up here. Can you tell green is my color? Okay, so there's our C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C follows the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet is just A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over again. Our C major scale follows that pattern, goes from C to C. Now we're going to put numbers to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're back to 1, or you could call it 8. When we just play our normal C major chord, we're actually playing a triad. Tri means 3, right? So a triad is built up of, a triad is made of 3 notes. So in this case, we've got C, E, and G. That's 1, 3, and 5. So that's our basic C major triad, 1, 3, and 5. And actually on your ukulele, so we've got 4 strings, right? So the notes, you've got an extra note there. So you're actually doubling a note. So we've got G, open G, open C, open E, and then that C is an octave above your open C, okay? So you're doubling the C, and then we had all those notes, right? We had C, we had E, we had G. Now, the 7 chord, we're actually adding in the 7th note of the scale. So a C major 7 chord is going to have C, E, G, and B. And now there are different kinds of 7s. We're going to talk about that. But in this case, this is our C major 7 chord. So we are going to move this top C down to a B. Ooh. And there is our C major 7 chord. Has a really beautiful sound. So the notes there are C, E, G, and B. And what the 7 does is it adds more character to the chord. It's a chord extension. So instead of just playing a basic C major chord, you're adding some depth, some magic, some sparkle to that chord. Okay, so that's a major 7 chord. And the major 7 is always a half step below the root. So the root of this chord, there's my dog barking, the root is C, or we can go up here to C. The major 7 is a half step below that. Okay, and then we also have a dominant 7 chord, and that implies a flat 7. So we would take the 7 and we would flat the 7 or lower it a half step. So that means we would play a B flat instead of a B natural. So we would lower this a half step, okay? That is our C7 sound. So when you just see the 7 and no like major in front of it, just a plain 7, that implies this flat 7 sound, okay? It's also known as a dominant 7 chord. So we've got C major 7, right, with our major 7, and then we've got C7 with our flat 7. I'm gonna give you a bonus, we could keep moving that down, and that would be C6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's move it over to G and take a look at that. So we've got a G major triad, and actually let me write my G scale on the board here. So here's our G major scale. Okay, so we've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And now that's a whole other lesson on creating a major scale, but you just need to know that G has 1 sharp in it, the key of G, and that is happens to be our 7. So now let's talk about the difference. Let's talk about G first. So our G chord, again, we're going to build it on 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so our triad is always 1, 3, 5, major triad. So we've got G, B, and D. Let's bring that to your ukulele. And so many of you are probably familiar with this G major shape, but you might not know all the notes that you're playing actually on the string. So let's break that down. So this is our open G string. On this, so on our C string, we're playing a whole step up, so that's a D. That sounds the same. So that's another G. And then on your A string up here, you're playing a B. So you've got those 3 notes, you've got G, B, and D, and you're actually doubling the G. Now for G major 7, all we're doing is we're adding the major 7, which in this case is F sharp, to the chord, okay? And you can now start to hear the difference. I love major 7 chords. They have such a beautiful sound. So that's our major 7 sound. So it's still G, B, D, and then we're adding F sharp to the mix. Now, if we want to do our G7, we're going to flat the 7. So instead of playing F sharp, we're just going to play F natural. Okay, so lower it by a half step to make that flat 7. And that would sound like this. Okay, so those notes would be G, B, D, F. When we talk about which 7 chords to use when, if you're learning a song and you see, for example, this came up in a lesson I was teaching the other day. They saw F major 7 on their sheet, and that's quite a stretch for your fingers. And I said, you know what, you can just play the F chord. And she was like, oh, why? And we took a look, we broke it down. F is just F-A-C, F major 7 is F-A-C-E. So while that 7th note, that major 7, adds a beautiful color tone to the chord, it's not absolutely necessary. Of course, if you're playing like a jazz standard, those 7s really go a long way, and you need those to color the different chords. And those chord extensions become really important with the leading tones and everything. But in a pop song, just a normal F chord or G chord or C chord will do. So when can you play these different types of 7 chords? So if you are in the key of C, you can always play a C major 7 chord for your 1 chord, and that'll just kind of give it that nice, beautiful, full sound. So that's always an option you can try. Now you wouldn't want to play the C7 in place of just a C triad or a C major. And that's because the 7 or the dominant has a special role in music, and it usually serves as the 5 chord, which means you're going from 5 to 1. So if our 1 is C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, D, E, F, G, G is our 5th, and there we would have the G7. But you wouldn't want to substitute a C7 just for your normal C chord. I'm gonna stop there. I could go much further with that, but let me know if you'd like to see another video going deeper on 7 chords, which ones to use when. I also have another video on all about Roman numerals and more about this number system that is really great. I call it your musical superpower, but it really helps you get to another level with learning songs and changing keys. So if you want to put a song in another key, this is kind of the first step to learning how to do that and really understanding harmony chords on a deeper level. So in conclusion, you've always got the triad to fall back onto, and that's just the basic chord, right? The C or the G, just a single letter name. And then the 7 adds that color to the chord. So that's a chord extension. It doesn't work exactly the same for minor chords, but it's the same concept, the 7th note above. Those are always the flat 7, unless it actually says major 7. Then you have a minor major 7 chord. That's a whole other video though. So thanks for joining me for this lesson. I love talking music theory. Let me know if you have any questions below, and please choose the like button. I'm drinking my coffee now, but cheers. Thank you for being here. And please subscribe for more ukulele wine time or coffee time or water time. Once again, my name is Kathryn, and I will see you soon. Cheers. Ukulele wine time.